Would we collectively be exceptionally dangerous to the system itself would collapse. It could not function, which makes people like me dangerous because we proliferate our information. We educate others, which also makes us dangerous when we disinform people or give out misinformation. Warning. The following program is always recorded live and is not intended for children. This program may at any time contain graphic or disturbing content that may be distressing and triggering for some viewers and against the terms of service for most mainstream websites. The themes and opinions expressed in this program should be considered an active and psychotic disinformation campaign and should not be used for political or academic purposes. Facts are not checked and no sources or citations will be provided. Should you choose to redistribute this broadcast, please do so only in good faith. It occurred to me I should do like some meta recording, just to show you what I'm up to. So today I'm editing, today is September 20th, 2022, and I'm editing July 27th, 2022. So there's a bit of a backlog, but I kind of created that on purpose. I purposely took a month off of editing because I was really burnt out, trying to just like keep up with it in real time. It was like, I just kept feeling like I just lived this. I don't want to live this again. Like I just did this. I don't want to do this again. I'm really liking my hair. I may redo some of the red, even though I really like the like gradient to it, the like kind of like flame fade color. I really like that a lot. How it like kind of fades in, because where there's more water and where the ponytail line is really what you're seeing. So yeah, pretty excited for today. I'm gonna make breakfast in a little while. I'm gonna finish editing the 27th, just so I will have a full week's buffer before I have to edit again. And we'll go from there. You have momentum, or you're just caught in the turbulence. I don't really know if anything I said was relevant or interesting, so I have to actually go back because I was talking this whole time. The capitalist system seems to... So today is fucking day is it? September 20th, 2022. My bike tire is flat. It's hard to do this with one hand. We'll be back when it's done. Oh, sounds about right. It's 100 psi, a little under. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's broken because I literally did this yesterday. So it was down to like 0 psi. So my best guess is that when I let a little bit of air out while I was biking, because I was biking around and I did let some air out, because it was too full. It was feeling kind of like it was higher up here than it was in the back. And, since I couldn't fill it, I was like, I'll just take like 5 or 10 psi out of this, whatever. But then, yeah, I guess, I must not have tightened it all the way up. That's what I'm hoping. Otherwise, it's a rim leak or some other type of leak, like a hole puncture. Anyways, this will maybe, hopefully, be the last time I have to do this for the season, actually. Oh, I mean, the season ends in 2 days. It's September 20th today, so we'll be back after this. Actually, today we have the jewel weed is fully ready to pop, if it'll focus. Okay, I'll see if I can get it to focus. Ready? Whoa, see that? And then over here, it looks like we have a pollinator visiting. A little ground bee or bumblebee of some variety. You're going to be seeing this probably sometime in November, December, but right now it is September the 20th, and What If Altist dropped a new video. It was either today or yesterday or maybe the day before that, but sometime this week he dropped a video called Who Would Win the Next American Civil War? And, I didn't disagree with much of what he had to say. It isn't really like there is much to say. The stuff that I thought was the most interesting was where he discussed that back, around World War II, like after Reconstruction, there was like one policy in the modern liberal era that wasn't the same as anything of the policies that had really come before that. So the question then becomes, You know, why was it back then that they were calling for more division and more political parties? Because people weren't even running as the parties that they were. They were just, oh, are they open? One here, I'll stop in a moment. I'm not going to be able to grab its plate, but I'll show you how to spot an undercover cop. So, the one at the end, we're not going to point, but you see how over there, how it's got the chromes? And you see like right over here, like these two right here don't. You always point to stuff if you're not, you film what you're interested in, you point to things that don't matter. That's distracting. So the other thing is the tinted windows. This one right here, you know, you can see, they don't enforce the tint on any of these, it doesn't appear. But, you know, that's definitely like a surveillance vehicle. Whether he's just writing a sup report or he's waiting to go to a call, that's more of like a detective would drive that around or something, you know, or like some sort of brass would drive that around. Because I'll bet you if you looked inside of that car has got like an entire security apparatus built inside of it. But what's interesting about it is that it's, if it isn't directly government, then it's local police, right? And if it isn't local police, you know, it's hard to tell with that type of unmarked vehicle who's really the fucking charge. Because it could be the guy who works for Homeland Security, but also cleans his pants at the local PD. So he's getting all the information to both, but the PD doesn't know that, right? Like that's the kind of vehicle that you gotta be able to, as the public, hold accountable. Because in some documents you may be able to FOIA request that, but in a lot of cases you can't because it's police information. And it's kind of a war. It's kind of a war between the people and the cops. It's an information war, of course. We're gonna hit the button. I'm too stoned to try to figure this out. Well, you know, you're more likely to win a lawsuit if, you know, if you park when it's not the hand of God telling you not to, or in this case, daddy government. So with an unparked police car, the way that you can spot it is, first of all, it's the same make and model as the local police car. So in this case, I'm pretty sure it's a Dodge Charger, but even if it's not, it doesn't really matter. The point is that it has all the windows tinted, all of them. The front windows on civilians are generally not allowed to be tinted, but you can see, like as with this pickup truck here, although it's very possible that that's an undercover as well, or that it works at the prison, you know, and kind of has exceptions. But you see how the rest of them, they have a tint, sure. You know, the sun doesn't get to roast everybody. This one's probably a little bit too tinted, but he's a cleaning service, so it may be exempt because it's a work vehicle. I don't really know what the statute on that is. I don't really give a fuck. But the point is all of them are very tinted. And the other way that you could tell is because if you look, and you gotta look very carefully, and you can't look from a distance, you gotta look at a certain angle, hidden, actually in line parallel. You have to kind of look up and down because it's parallel with the grille or the front lights, and then on just barely touching the tip of the glass, you'll see the light bar and the radar. The other way you can look, you see how this one may be some sort of other vehicle, but it's got the chrome, so it's like probably a marked unit. And it has the listening devices up top, or actually it's broadcast equipment. It's also counter surveillance equipment. Here goes another one. This is like 3 unmarked in a row. You know, this one, you know, they nod at each other, but they're not trying to acknowledge. Question really then, oh yeah, this one is actually marked. This one's emergency management. I wonder which 3-letter that actually is, you know? Because emergency management, I mean, geez, man, they could jump out of the fucking vehicle with a, you know, Wolverine wearing Team America costume. Jump out and get you. Maybe it's for me. It probably isn't. I don't think I'm that interesting. But they've had time to stage if it is, you know. Could be the day they just decide to pot me for my unlawful speech and you know, whatever I've been posting on the internet. Nothing unlawful. It's more just that they don't like me. Hence why it's unmarked units, you know. And it makes a lot of sense too, to have unmarked units versus marked units, because, you know, with who knows what type of fucking emergencies that guy manages. New York State emergency. Oh, someone's not wearing a COVID mask at the store. Oh, it's an emergency. The governor mandated it. It's not illegal, but the governor, by golly, he mandated it. Now it's a private trespassing issue. You know, police don't give a fuck. They can tell you it's a mandate. And if you ask them if it's illegal, they can repeat that phrase. Well, it's a mandate. Some bullshit that they can get away with that if you don't know your rights and you don't know the Constitution, which is why you have to know your Constitution, because otherwise they can literally force you to wear a mask, which is ridiculous. Right now, private property, sure, they can force you to wear a mask, but they sure as fuck can't tell you to wear one in public. They can get mad, right? They can plant someone in your protest crowd to make you look worse than you are by following around cameramen and saying things that you wouldn't ideally want attached to your political party as ammunition. and they can give that, to the radicals. Or I mean, it's the radicals filming it. Anyways, so you got to wonder about these unmarked vehicles, right? Like, who is inside of them? What are their credentials? And more than that is, should we trust the institution that hires them? I don't really give a fuck about how much money they're making or whether it's waste, fraud, and corruption. I care about whether or not that the integrity of the state is being upheld, and whether the integrity of state takes into consideration the class of person or persons that can exist lawfully, constitutionally. That is to say that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We're not going to sit here and play species war. Even if I, and I don't, if I thought that, like, we should go back to Jim Crow era, which I don't, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that what it's called? I forget what the analogy is, but trans people are another good example. Like, I care whether or not that the sheriff lawfully in this area is going to uphold my rights just because I'm trans. Now, if say every single one of their quote-unquote marked units give them a chance to present the fact that they exist, so that you at least know when you call, someone's there to take care of it, even if it's just traffic enforcement, right? And they don't really distinguish between the men who shoot you and the traffic enforcement. They kind of do. It's not to say that they don't have traffic managers. It's just to say that when you call because your car got flipped on its side, right, you're calling 911, they're dispatching the police, right? Not that emergency management guy that you saw roll by. He doesn't fucking show up when you flip your car. The fucking cops do. And you want to know what's interesting about that is that means that at any time they can decide to place you under arrest, which, truth be told, so can anybody. Or they can decide to just fucking summarily execute you and unlawfully shoot you to death. Now, we have outgrown the era where that was the common outcome of walking into, say, a right-wing sundown town. Now, for those who don't know what a sundown town is, it means, boy, this is sundown around here. If I catch you out here, I will hang you from a tree. You better be gone by sundown, boy. That's sundown town, and you better be out of there, right? Now, sundown towns don't exist, right? The closest thing I've seen to a sundown town was not a hanging, it was a chase-off, and it was an unlawful chase-off. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, why he completely disobeyed his oath. But the sheriff in this little town, that I won't even name because, you know what, they took responsibility for it, and they immediately changed their laws and held an emergency meeting. And so, but anyway, if you want to go look up what I'm talking about, is this dude named Travis Hines, right? He had his rights violated and live streamed it, right? And it was just an otherwise mundane issue, but it caused fucking outrage because a lot of disabled veterans and a lot of just like right-wingers and a lot of just like libertarian types and a lot of just like constitutional freedom protectors who really believe, with or without the gender ideology, with or without the left or the right wing, they believe in the Constitution. They're a constitutionalist because they at least believe in something, whether it's freedom or whatever nonsense that they're going to claim, whatever the fuck that they're going to claim. Even if they're a deplorable person, they were holding the government accountable in a way that leftists just don't even know how, because they're too busy just being leftists. Right now, that isn't to say that there isn't some utility to the left and the way that they want to manage things. It's just that a left-winger, none of my left-wing friends, so this one's a private one, that's not police. That's someone that's like very important and who's willing to pay the fine. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Oh no, you pulled me over, now it's $250 for me to pay the ticket that you wrote me. Officer, what exactly, and I mean fucking exactly, write it down, was your name and badge number? Just, do you have a business card? Who's your supervisor? I see, and is there a call and incident report number that you could write down on the back of your business card? I see, and if I wanted to get a copy of a potential supplementary report, could I FOIA request that at your jurisdiction or any jurisdiction around here? Right, those are sharp fucking questions. The cops don't want to play that game, and truthfully, if you're smart enough to play that game against the police, you should not be playing that game against the police. You know who should? Your attorney. You know what game you play? That's the game you play. That's a different fucking game, right? So, at some level, the street peasant, even like me, knowing their rights to the fullest extent of the Constitution, right? Well, maybe not for me, I don't know about the fullest, but I like to think that I know a thing or two, you know, and that's all I really know, a thing or two. I'm not a lawyer, but I know enough to know enough, but not enough to be dangerous to the system itself. If every single person I knew what I knew, not only would we collectively be exceptionally dangerous to the system. Whoa, Storm 10 tracker. I have no reason whatsoever to believe that that right there is a surveillance vehicle, and here's why. If it was a surveillance vehicle, my best guess is that it would look like that truck over there. Now, I also have no reason to assume that that is a surveillance vehicle. I think that if a surveillance vehicle, I actually have reason to believe that that's not, because if you look at the level of inches that it rides above the ground and the types of tires that's on it, the tires themselves are not reinforced. The glass also doesn't look reinforced. It looks chintzy, actually. It looks like it's from like possibly like the mid 90s, early 2000s, that truck. You know, something like this, definitely not. Definitely couldn't be a secret surveillance truck. Something like that could be like a secret good old boys club. They got blue and yellow lights. You're not allowed to have other types of colored lights, and you're only allowed to have those types of colored lights with a permit. And you actually have to apply for the permit. You can't just be like, man, I'm a wrecker. What's up, man? Yeah, I'm really good at this. I just put my ad up in the newspaper yesterday. I've already gotten 3 calls. Now, that does not make you legitimate. There's a permitting system, and there's a good reason for it. You know, some people may say that that's tyranny, right? I say it prevents women from getting raped, first of all. And if that isn't good enough for your first of all, let me tell you, it also cuts down on fraud. It cuts down on incompetence. It cuts down, therefore, on the court's time managing your bullshit. Because the court does not want to manage your bullshit. We don't want more judges. We don't need, well, we actually probably do need, we actually probably really do need more judges. But we need more jurisdictional prudence around local, right, there's like one DA that has jurisdiction to, like a Bugatti or something, I don't know cars. There's like one DA that could, hypothetically, right, disenfranchise an entire class of persons, or more importantly, hold a certain class of, what the fuck are the police? Like, are they a class? Are they a gang? Are they a business model? What are they? They're their own thing. They really are, because like, they're not a military. Some of them are very damn close to it being a military unit. Some of them actually are military units, but they're distinguished from the military both in the way that they are able to purchase ordnance, but also obviously their jurisdiction. But if push comes to shove, I don't know how much of a difference that there really is. These are beautiful. I love these. This is amazing. So, as for the undercover unit over there, right? Who knows what they're doing there? Right now, I'm suspicious, but I'm not reasonably articulatable. I can't articulate it reasonably why I'm suspicious. I have my conspiratorial reasons, as you can hear, but none of that amounts to what is called probable cause. Now, probable cause is the standard that they actually need to issue a warrant or exact an arrest. Now, it's interesting because it's distinguishable from something called a standard held to a preponderance of evidence, right? That means that you look at the totality of the evidence, and then you weigh up that evidence, and you say to yourself, I think, this is in a civil case, mind you, that there's about a 51% chance or more that that guy's guilty. And you can actually be held accountable in law for that. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. There's also things called like partial liability, but I don't want to get down the rabbit hole with that because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not legal advice. But anyway, so back to the marked units, right? So here's what actually scares me about unmarked units, right? You don't know if it's the local police. If I had to make a guess, if I had to make like an educated guess, I would say that guy probably is a detective with maybe the state police, but he could be a spook, right? And that like, you know, I mean, any of these fucking people could be a spook, right? That's why you don't have reasonable, articulatable suspicion. You have paranoia. But by a preponderance of evidence, I knew that was a cop car. How did I know it was a cop car? 1, same make and model as all the other cop cars. 2, it is seemingly exempt from the tint, jurisdiction, or enforcement, and it is way darker. It's not even like, it's not kinda darker. It's like, wow, you legit cannot at all fucking tell who is sitting in it. The third reason is, and this is actually an interesting one, the plate is on perfectly. It is perfectly centered. It's like a master put that fucking plate on. And you can tell because it's like a completely unbent, it has never been chipped. Like, it doesn't look like it's been beat up. That's what I'm trying to say. And it isn't just the plate, it's all of it. Okay? The third way you can tell is it's not necessarily the type of tires, although that's part of it. I don't know how to articulate what that type of tire is. It's the fact that they're what they call chromes. It's you only see the place, so all these cars, right? It's not unlawful to buy an old Crown Vic police thing or whatever, and you can have chromes. They're not unlawful, right? But they're not like stock. They don't come default, right? And everyone else has hubcaps because, like, I really don't understand why. I guess it makes it a little more beautiful right before the squirrel dies. Or the toddler if you're really an unfortunate parent. But I don't really understand. Anyway, it's a different discussion about why they all have hubcaps. Like, if I had to choose, someone asked me that, well, Sarah, you had to choose between having hubcaps and not having hubcaps, and then you have the hubcaps. And I thought to myself, I don't give a fuck about hubcaps. Hey, you know, 12 years later, I'm driving the same car, with one car in between, actually. But I'm driving the same car, and it has 2 matching in the front, 1 missing, and then 1 completely unmatching in the back. Because there was 2 matching in the back, but then 1 fell off. And I don't give a fuck. What am I gonna, I'm gonna go on Amazon and order hubcaps. What am I could go look on the side of the road and find fucking hubcaps. They're everywhere. What the fuck I need a broken hubcap on my car for? Right? So, now think about that. Think about what I just said. There's hubcaps all over the side of the road. And you think I'm just being funny, right? And that I've lost my trail of thought. But no. I'm actually exemplifying exactly why you can recognize a police unmarked unit, because they're not going to have fucking hubcaps. Because they're not dumb enough to put fucking hubcaps on, because say they do the pit maneuver. They don't want to get fucking sued in court when they use the pit maneuver to stop your drunk granny from running away going 70 miles an hour, and their car has, you know, the cop cars, oh no, there goes the hubcap right through a window, it killed an infant. They don't want that shit. They do not need that shit. So they just don't do it. Right? So, and then the last way that you can recognize it is the headlights are very clearly modified, but it's not discernible exactly how they're modified. It's just that you look at them and there's something, it's like, what is that? They're very well polished. They're a lot brighter. And it's also because they have the blinking. They have that one. So there's more to it than just, but yeah. So, we'll be back another time. POV, you're a Native American, and then you're getting chased around by Predator, but you speak perfect English and feminism. It's a very, very strange movie. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. It was a 2022 flick called Prey. Spelled E-Y, not A-Y. Prey, like an eagle would hunt a rabbit as prey. And, you know, I mean, it's an obvious, I mean, it's a Predator movie, but it's actually a movie about prey. And I did not really like it. I don't know, I just like, I mean, it was watchable, I guess. But it was just like, it's like every girl horror movie lead is the same, and this one was significantly more trite than usual, and it was like woo-woo, but she's Native American woo. I don't know, they're trying, I guess. Alright, so let's run a thought experiment, right? Say all of your units are marked. That means that there's no shot that you can sneak up, and I'm not talking like half marked, like oh, maybe that's a cop behind me, maybe it's not, but like at night when you're drunk you definitely can't tell. You know, that's fine. There goes the sheriff. Film the police. Always film. See how dark it is? You can't see fucking the sheriff. You can't see what he looks like. The POV, the sheriff is behind you. That's like a whole show genre. The sheriff is tailgating. That's kind of funny. He's probably trying to read the license plate. So, say every single one of your units is marked. Okay. Fair play. But how the fuck are you going to get anything done at like a real level of politics, right? Because the police, whether you like it or not, are involved with politics, right? Say it's a corrupt senator getting arrested. Say it's a billionaire. It's the same agency that has to exact the arrest or carry out the warrant, right? Now, that being said, how... Oh, a tree planter, a tree digger. Cool. So how, with that being the case, do you have accountability, right? The answer is you work in private. It's the only way you could have anything get done, because otherwise they would just purchase you. They would just buy you out. They'd make a fool of you. They would stalk you around like the paparazzi. You wouldn't know which detective's car was which, maybe, but you'd know every time a detective came to the, hey, what the fuck was that cop doing here later, bitch? I seen him over here earlier, he was with you. I seen him when I was selling my crack and pimping you out. I seen you talking to that cop, right? How are you gonna get anything done if all of your units are marked? So it does absolutely make sense to have some unmarked units, right? Let's flip that. Let's flip the experiment. What if every single one of your units is unmarked? How are you going to get anything done? How is anyone going to trust that you showing up in a plain clothes or wearing a uniform, but still in a plain clothes car, that they can trust you? On the side of the road, especially when you're drunk at night, how the fuck are you going to know who's legit and who's not, right? A pretty fucking big giveaway is the car on the side says pretty fucking clearly police, right? So if you have all unmarked vehicles, that's illegitimate. So say it's 80-20, 20% marked, 80% unmarked, right? That's fucking terrifying. As far as I'm concerned, that's basically a secret police state. And here's the thing, we don't even know whether or not that is the case or not, because it's classified information, right? Now, the police do have some privilege to classify things, as does any business, right? As does most government agencies, right? Or where it would otherwise by law be prohibited to release, such as, you know, HIPAA information, or, you know, the cops ask you so much invasive questions. They'd be like, cops be asking you shit like, have you ever had HIV in the last 3 months? But you don't verbalize that. You know, but the cops be asking you all sorts of completely unreasonable questions that they have no jurisdictional prudence over, that they couldn't possibly care less about. They're just doing it to get you in a system because it's better for them to have information, right? Maybe you're dumb and you tell them you have AIDS and Hep C. Great. Next time when you're arrested, they know, hey, watch out for this one, he's got Hep C. But here's the thing. Say that you never gave them any information. Now they don't know who has Hep C and who doesn't. They treat you the same anyway, because that's exactly how they're trained, because they got to assume you got fucking Hep C, because they don't know who has Hep C, and some people don't know they have Hep C even if they did ask you, and you were compelled to tell them, which you're not, and you shouldn't. Because then they're pulling you over on the side of the road, and maybe they know that you have AIDS, maybe they don't. You don't know. You don't fucking know, and that's a problem, right? You can't FOIA request that, right? It's privy information, or so you'd think. But every once in a while, a body cam footage, for example, will get out, and your private number. Here's one that I saw today. It was on YouTube channel, I believe, Code Blue Cam. I think just for shouting it out would demonetize, but we're a demonetized channel anyways. So it was uploaded, and either that or it was Real World Police. It's one of those two. You can check them both out. But it was about a 2.5 hour raw dump of an investigative stop surrounding a fraudulent check, and it was released, I think, within the week of September 19th. So Monday, September 19th. I believe it was released within this week. It could have been the week before, but you can go search it out. This is the casino, by the way. I always meme about that. Like, I'm trying to just wear the most dreadful thing possible, the most possibly white trash hat I can. This is the most white trash hat I can possibly wear, and something about that tickles me. It really does. So basically, the woman who was at the bank, who was giving her own personal cell phone information, as she stated it was, to the officer, so the officer, in this case, sergeant, who would then follow up with a detective, she was giving her private information to the police in the privacy of her own office, right? And guess what? Now I have that bitch's number, and I can call her up and I can say, hey, bitch, what's up? And she'll say, who the fuck is this? How'd you get this number? And I'll say, oh, I got it on the internet, you stupid bitch. You're a bitch. And what's she gonna do? She's gonna call the police on me? First of all, you fucking cunt, I'm in another state. Second of all, it's not unlawful for me to call you up and harass you and call you a cunt. Fuck you. Right? I can say whatever the fucking goddamn shithell piss balls I believe I fucking can say, and unless I directly threaten to then fuck you, I can say whatever I want. I probably wouldn't add the part of I just added that because it's true. You could say that. But that may be harassment. That may be over the line. But she'd have to argue that in court. First of all, she'd have to figure out who the fuck I am. And the NSA is not going to play ball. Of course the NSA knows I did it. And the FBI knows that I did it. You know, but they're not going to invest the fucking time with their unmarked fucking cars coming into my house, coming into my fucking friend's house, asking them fucking questions, hitting them up on the internet. They don't got time for that. Nah, you know what this bitch's recourse is? Nothing. You know what your recourse is? Don't fucking talk to the police. Even if you out there think that you're on the good guys team. You're like, oh man, we're both, oh, this nice officer is here. I can't believe I got to do good deed and stop scammers. You know what you should fucking do? Not fucking talk to the fucking police. Fucking ever. Right? Because you're talking to the world. You might think that it's privy because you're behind closed door, and actually it probably should be. It probably should have been redacted. Right? But the onus is on the police. Right? And you think they give a fuck? They'll bludge it out, yeah, but there's nothing that necessarily... Sometimes the YouTube channels, if they're responsible, will also delete it. Because they can actually be held accountable, because if the person in question calls up to YouTube and proves that their identity is who that they say that they are, you know, there is a way to do claims, but just using your likeness isn't necessarily against terms of service. But I believe in that instance a reasonable circumstance that that it wasn't in public and that it should have been redacted, because whether it was wiretapping or not, a reasonable person would have assumed, I believe, and I would argue in court, and I think it should be argued this way, that that type of information should have been, and since it wasn't, what's the recourse? And that's the real question. So even to say, let's say that I'm wrong. Let's say that someone out there is like, you're a totalitarian nut job. Do you have any idea what you're saying, Sarah? That is so unconstitutional, it would break the foundation of our cities and our states, because then we could just, they could hide everything and everything would be a police state. Oh, okay, all right, let's run with that. Fine, you're right. So it's lawful to release it. What's her recourse, right? There's none. There's none. It's not a civil rights violation, is it? Oh, I don't think so. Oh, ma'am, oh, my cell phone number, which is not necessarily public information, but got leaked. Oh no, oh my hardship. It's a civil matter. It's a civil matter. Right? Good fucking luck suing the police in a civil matter. Oh, Your Honor. Oh, the police. Oh, they released my phone number when their FOIA request. First of all, you don't know if the judge is an asshole, and the judge could be like, yeah, FOIA requests are fucking bullshit and they shouldn't exist, and the fact that you're forcing us to wear body cams is testament only to your leftist drivel. Oh, there goes those dudes. They're always out here. Yeah, they're out. Those dudes are out here all the time. So yeah, so don't fucking talk to the police, man. Right? And if you absolutely have to, what you should do is you should write things down very small. Write it. If you have to give that information, right? Verbally state to the cop, I do not want this on your body cam. I understand that it may not be lawful for that to be avoided, or if it happens by accident, that you may not be able to be held accountable. But from one good law-abiding citizen to another, could you just fucking not dox me, bro? Like, please. And I understand that in a personal capacity, you, officer, probably aren't even the one in the electronics room, because there'd be a conflict of interest, because if you had access to edit and redact your own body cam every time you fucking shot anyone unlawfully or pulled them over and used the N-word and proned them out and raped them, you'd just be able to be like, what are you talking about? Oh, it malfunctioned. And there was a fucking time where in court that actually, they hadn't patched that loophole, so to speak, because now, there, at least in some jurisdictions, there's starting to be direct accountability to officers where their qualified immunity can be revoked, and actually they can be unlawfully charged with evidence tampering, among such other laws that are new to the books, like digital tampering and other such laws that in nuance, are at least on the books, and if they're not enforced this year, maybe they will be next year, maybe they never will, We'll be back after this. POV, the cop shows up at your house, right? You didn't call them. What do? The first thing I fucking do, no bullshit. Officer shows up on my porch, I'd be like, "You got a warrant?" And they'd be like, "Oh no, man, we're just here to..." You're trespassed. Be gone. I'm not fucking around. And you shut the door in their face. That's the end of it. Because you know what? If they do have a warrant, they don't necessarily have to tell you they have it. They don't. They have no lawful reason that they have to give you that warrant. Now, there is a Fourth Amendment breach that happens if they were to exact arrest on private property, for example, especially at the curtilage of your own home. Mind you, you can go watch Lackluster channel on this, or study up on some case law. Is that my foot? What the hell? What the fuck, bro? There's like a stick stuck in my fucking shoe. I mean, my shoe is like totally falling apart. Damn, bro. Damn, bro. Oh, it's over. I'm gonna smoke this bowl. We're gonna go watch some airplanes in the night sky, like shooting stars. I didn't even get a DMCA. It's actually, you're not allowed to remix like parodies. That's like fair use or whatever. Be unlawful to release those to the general public. Like they're internal books, like I guess it would be, and it's probably a civil matter. This is my guess. I'm not a lawyer. This is what I want to go do research on for today. So the education stops here, and the research, you know, my psychotic madness starts here. So the following program should be considered an active disinformation campaign that should not be used for political or academic purposes. Facts are not checked, and the sources or citations will be provided. Thank you. So I think that because they are a government institution and not necessarily a privatized military contractor group, even if that's what they really are, and that's who they act as and act upon. Damn, did I burn myself again? Bro, I burned myself again in the same spot. Same exact way on the wick. I gotta figure out a better way to like put that out. Anyways, so is it unlawful? Not just annoying, not just potentially dangerous. Is it unlawful to leak the training manuals? Now, I do think that the government has a vested interest to hold secrets, and I think that there is well-established case law there, and then some really fucking shady secret law surrounding where some of that information can be withheld and needs to be withheld. And I'm not making argument that it shouldn't be that way. It really does need to be that way. Unless we're going to throw the entire system out, and if we are, I would like to hear what the alternative would be, because if it ain't better, well, that doesn't necessarily mean don't break it, but at least not over this. That's kind of how I arrived to this. So, secret laws definitely can break a country, though. That's definitely the case. You go look up at some of the stuff they're doing with, you go look up the term rubber stamp, subpoena, but then also look up a bunch of other different stuff. I don't want to get down too many buzzwords for today. So, I'm way too fucking high. I have no idea what we're even talking about anymore. I don't even know what topic we're on today. I don't even know what day it is. I gotta go pee. We'll be back when I've gone and done that. And then maybe I'll have more to say. Sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. Damn, I'm at Sitting Bull or whatever. See? You can tell. There's like another one over here. It's like a bunch of Indians. Oh, I wonder, like, okay, so say I submit a motion to, I don't know actually what it would be, but suppression or exemption to the requirement is what I'm seeking, I suppose. But I don't know how to ask for that. Like, I don't know what the proper terminology for that. But I'm asking for, like, the exemption to the requirement that I need to publish my name in wherever the fuck they're gonna tell me I have to publish my name, because I'm transgender. And even though I'm not actually changing my gender, it is important that I have personal body security surrounding the fact that I am already a sealed record because of my gender, right? Like too much fucking information exists of me out there. I want a new lawful last name. Mostly what I need is a DPA, right? That's just as good for me. But I also want to be different in the police and especially federal databases, because I only have one passport. It's my dead and unlawful name, and therefore the actual passport itself is null. So I actually don't have a passport, right? Even a couple of months after I had changed my name, it would have been unlawful. Even the day after, probably, but not really, because it wouldn't technically have, like, processed in the system yet. There could be up to a 17-month delay. We just don't know. It's a government shutdown. It was ridiculous. I was like, okay, you fucking cunts. Of course it's a government shutdown. It's funny because the government shutdown was over some, like, fake fucking labor dispute where, like, the statists are like, oh, we're New York. And then everyone's like, yeah. And it's just always the same fucking thing. I don't understand the nuances of it. It's not my niche. But Southwest plane's about to take off. See it. It's gonna go out of view. It was too late. It's too late. Anyways, so I wonder, right? Like, would it be unlawful, right? To, like, take a poop in the middle of the road? Yeah, of course it would. But would it be unlawful for me to change my name, right, without actually having to publish the fact that I did change my name? Now, that doesn't mean that my identity is hidden from the government, but it does necessarily mean that, like, online searches would be a little more difficult if the government itself doesn't leak, or my fucking insurance company, or worse, the fucking clinics I'm forced to contend with. Because there is no other coverage for minorities that want minority healthcare. Like, I'm sorry, you're not paying an expensive specialist doctor to do your transition? Well, you must be retarded or poor. And I'm like, bro, I'm both. And then they were like, yeah, most of you are. Bye. And then that's it. Then you're out. You can go ask the Christians. They're really good at picking up the slack there. But they fucking hate trans people. They hate them. Hate them. And then some Christians get super offended by it. They're like, my fucking younger sister is trans, and my fucking entire congregation accepts them. And I'm like, good luck in your fucking church, sweetheart. I'm gonna go fuck the Shinigami. We'll be back after this. Run rampant. You can't even say that I stand it. You gas up on TV, but I got nothing. I'm so bad at rapping, it's ridiculous. I got nothing. Tracking storms. Use this to show. guys want to see some bullshit? I'm not even fucking joking. This is the most bullshit thing you'll ever see. Hey! I was thinking that I should like go in the background and just make like a bunch of noise to see if I could get on the news. You know, someday when my vlog is a little more popular, like that's not the way I want to start my career. It would be funny though. If I had a more coherent message maybe in my episode, I'd do it, you know? Like, yo, like you know, you can't just scream advertisements in the background. It's a dick move. Right now, we're committing trespass with our arms. This is unlawful. It's actually more than unlawful, it's dangerous. So, but you know, they'd have to ask me to leave. Here, cow, 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 cow. You can't call it cow. They're like, they're similar to cats in their autism, but actually they're probably just really just stupid. It's hard to tell if they're autism or stupid. Here, cow, 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 cow. See what I mean? Like, they just do not give a fuck. Like, do they even hear me? Like, they must, but they certainly do not care. They're like, kid, I got better things to do, like fucking eating, okay? I don't see you eating right now, you fool. The sun is out. Why aren't you eating? Well, how do you know if you're the outcome of an MK Ultra experiment, or if you're just a run-of-the-mill nutcase? I don't know the difference. I just realized it made it. It's as tall. It's actually taller. It made it. Now it's like not even like a question. It's legit taller. We'll confirm it. There is no shot that this is not taller right now. Here. Oh my goodness. It's definitely taller. See, look at that. By like an inch or two. So yeah, this is a castor bean. And it's next to the little mullein. Oh, oh, little mullein. This is just ridiculous. And I say it every time. It's just a ridiculous plant. Ooh, look at that. Wow. And then these seed pods right here will open up and then they will drop. But I don't see any seeds, so I will not be able to harvest any today. But it would be fun to get some seeds for a castor bean plant. Grow some ricin. Shout outs to Walter White. Shout outs to Broomcorn and the storm. Oh no. You can't really see it. Oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it. It is actually raining. That's why I started recording. I don't know if you can see that, but you can definitely see the clouds. But yeah, it is definitely raining. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I think you know, I'm gonna bet that this is kind of a very isolated little thing. I'm gonna chill out here. I'm gonna look to the blue skies and I'm gonna hope it does not get a lot worse. It could get a lot fucking worse. If I need to seek shelter, we'll get there when we get there. I don't really know. There's not a lot of good shelter around here. Maybe the airport. I mean, it's a weird thought, but it could work. Couldn't really get my camera out. I was watching a YouTube video. 6:07 p.m. This medium-sized plane's coming in. Looks like it's going to be right over our heads. Hopefully we don't die if it crashes. That would be a shitty way to go. Wow. Look at it listing, trying to wrestle the wind. I think you can do it. I believe in you. Wow, that last little bank was pretty sharp. You did it though. Pretty good landing, I'd say. I mean, I could be wrong. It may not necessarily be law enforcement, but it's still there. And there's another one over there, so it's like, do we really believe that? To me, it seems like they're staking out the whole intersection. You know, with a dash cam. You know, like mounted lens, and not even necessarily like a shitty dash cam. I'm talking like, you know, DSLR, zoom lens, all of it. You know, all that. So who knows what they're up to? Nice little panoramic shot here before the leaves change this year. You can already see the water is receding a little bit back. And you know, we've already hit summer's height, so. But yeah.